friends, this is Miss Chawan again. This time we're going to talk about multiplying fractions. We have two ways. It's multiplication. I know you hate multiplication, but need it. So please, this is a really good time to review multiplication again from 0 to 12, of course. You need to memorize it, please. You need to review it to be better. Even if you memorize it until now, please just review it 1 or 2 times. It's better for you. So the lesson is two-part. The first one, multiply natural numbers by fractions. We mean by natural numbers the whole numbers, a normal number that we have, with a fraction. I wrote a note for you. First is page 180 and 181. I wrote, if you have a natural number, a whole number, a normal number, multiply by a fraction. So there is a number and multiply by a fraction. You need to just multiply the top of the fraction. The top of the fraction, okay? So you need to multiply the top by the number that you have. So you don't need to multiply the number by denominator. You need to just write the denominator the same, multiply the number by the numerators, so by the top. Let's to see how can we do it. So these lessons, this part one, or also the next part, the second part, they are really easy because we don't have a lot of steps. We need just to multiply. But after finding the answer, you need to sometimes change it to mixed number, which you learned before, and sometimes you need to write it as a simplest form. Again, you learned it before. I explain again both way here, but you need to, if you forgot how to change to mixed number or write it as a simplest form, you need to go back to the lessons, your notebook, your book, and study on it, please. So the first example, you see here we have a normal number 3 multiplied by 4 nines, 4 or 9. You need to multiply just these two numbers, 3 and 4. You don't need to multiply the 3 by 9. You need just to multiply the 3 by 4. This step here, it's not necessary. I wrote it just for you to explain. You need just to multiply the number by the top, not the bottom. So we're going to multiply 3 by 4. It's equal to 12. And the numerator, the same, 9, still the same. 12 on 9, it's abnormal fraction. It's not a good fraction. It's abnormal. Okay, so we need to change it to mixed number. Always the fractions that the top are bigger than the bottom, the 12 is bigger than 9. In this case, always you're going to change it to mixed number. So change into mixed number, it's here. Change to mixed number by dividing the numerator by denominator. So you need to divide 12 by 9 or 15 by 4, okay? Which is the second example. So when you divide the 12 by 9, you're going to use long division. I will try to do it here by writing. It's going to be really not nice, but it's okay. I hope you to understand. We have 12 divided by 9, so let's divide it. In 12, how many 9 we have? We have 1. 1 times 9, still 9. We need to minus them. 12 minus 9, remaining 3. So we have the answer. We have the remainder equal. How are we going to rewrite this division to like a mixed number? We need the answer will be the normal number, the whole number that we have. Then draw a line. Denominator is still the same, 9, 9. It will be the same, and the remainder will go up 3 here. So 1, 3 on 9. This is how you're going to change an abnormal fraction to mixed number. Second example, we have 1/4, 1 and 4, multiplied by 15. So in this case, we need to multiply the top, which is 1, and the 15. 1 times 15, equal to 15 here, and the denominator is still the same. 15 on 4 is abnormal fraction, so we're going to change it to mixed number by using the same way, division, long division. 15 divided by 4, which is we have 3. 3 times 4 equal to 12. We're going to minus them, remaining 3. So the final answer is 3. 3 on 4. Okay, I wrote a small note here inside this cloud. The answer are abnormal fraction most of the time, so they need to be changed to a mixed number. Or simplified by simplifying it. But if I said find the product, you don't need to do them. So if in the questions I just said find the product, it means just solve it, just multiply it. So you're going to just stop here, 12 and 9. But if I say solve them and write it as a simplest form, solve them and change it to mixed number, so you need to do all of them. Let's move on. Example, also text example. At the third, we have 3 on 5 multiplied by 16. Like we said, we need just to multiply the 16 by 3. 16 times 3 equals to 48. Denominator is still the same, just 5. This is abnormal fraction, so we're going to change it to mixed number by using long division, which the answer will be 9, 3 on 5. The fourth one, we have 30 multiplied by 2/5 or 2 on 5. Again, we're going to multiply the 30 by 2 by the top. Okay, so draw a line. 30 times 2, 60, and the 5 write it the same, 60 on 5. Okay, if we want to change this one to a mixed number, we cannot change it to a mixed number. Let's do it. 60 here, divide by 2. So if we do it like 6 divided by 2, it's just 3. 3 times 2, still 6, minus remaining 0. And the last 0 going to go just up. So it's 30. The remainder is 0. In the mixed numbers, the remainder always should be a number, not a 0. So this fraction, you cannot change it to mixed number. So what should we do in this case? Because we cannot change it to a mixed number, of course we're going to write it as a simplest form. If you remember, when we talk about simplest form, we say that you have just only 2 steps. The first one, you need to find greatest common factor, and the second one, you need to divide it by both numerator and denominator. So I did it here for you. I wrote because 60 and 5 have greatest common factor. Of course that you know in multiplying by 12, you have 12 times 5 equal to 60. So directly you're going to know that this fraction cannot be changed to mixed number. You're going to write it as a simplest form. So we will write it as a simplest form. First you're going to find greatest common factor here. 60 and 5 is 5, the greatest common factor between them. So we're going to move on to the fraction. 60 divided by 5 is 12. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So 12 on 1 is still 12. Okay, that's why I write here just 12. Number 5, example number 5 is the same also. You need to write it as a simplest form, not change it to mixed number. So 6 multiplied by 2 on 3, it's equal. Multiply the 6 and 2 together. 6 times 2 equals to 12. The denominator the same, 3. 12 on 3. 12 on 3, we cannot change it to mixed number because 12 and 3, they already have a multiplication together, which is 4. So you need to divide the 3 by 4 and by 3 and 4 by 3 and 12 by 3. So 12 divided by 3 equals to 4. 3 divided by 3 equals to 1. It will be 12 on 4 on 1, and the final answer will be 4. Okay, so you need just to find greatest common factor if you didn't know which is the common number in their multiplications. When you look at 12 and 3, you're going to directly know that like 4 is the common number in multiplication because 3 times 4 equals to 12. Yeah, but in case if you don't memorize the multiplication, you need to find greatest common factor for them. So this part is done. The homeworks, page 181, examples 13 until 22. And please do all the changing to mixed number or writing it as a simplest form. Second part. This one is also much easier. It is multiplying a fraction by a fraction. Two fractions, multiplying between them. So before we learn how to add them, we learn how to subtract them. This time it is multiplying them, but multiplying the fraction, it's much easier than adding it or subtracting it. You're going to say why? Multiplication is harder than addition and subtraction, but no, in addition and subtraction you need to do a lot of steps, so you need to equal the denominators, but here in multiplication you don't need to equal the denominators. Okay, you need just to multiply them, like this note I wrote here: multiply the numerator, I mean the top, together, and denominators, the bottom, together. Let's move on to the example. We know what I mean by multiplying the top together and the bottom together. The examples: find the product, write it in simplest form. So you need to change it to simplest form. The first one, I have 1/3 multiplied by 5/4, or like 1/3 multiplied by 5/4. So in this case, it's not like you don't need to have always normal fraction. It's okay if it was abnormal fraction. We're going to look at the final answer. Let's do it. When I mean top by top, so 1/5, okay, and bottom by bottom, so 3/4. You need to draw a line. I do this step just for explanation, so you don't need to do it. 1 times 5 is equals to 5. 3 times 4 equals to 12. And the final, you have 5/12. You need to write it as a simplest form, but this one is already simple because between 5 and 12 we don't have any common multiplication. So just leave it because it is simple itself. Okay, move on for the second one. We have half, 1/2 multiplied by 2/5. So we skipped the step that I did it before because we don't need it. Just multiply top by top. So 1 times 2 equals to 2 at the top. Draw the line the same. Multiply bottom by bottom. So 2 times 5 equals to 10. Now you have 2/10, and this one, of course, you're going to write it as a simplest form, so you can look at this cloud here. Write in simplest form, need greatest common factor and divide. So you need to first find the greatest common factor between the numerator and denominator, between the top and the bottom. You have 2/10, so find greatest common factor for 2 and 10. Greatest common factor, it is mean multiplications, which times which equals to that number. So which times which equals to 2? Just 1 and 2. Which times which equals to 10? It is 1, 2, 5, and 10. So between these numbers, you have just 2 in common. So the greatest common factor is 2. We're going to go back to the fraction. We have 2/10. 2 divided by 2 and 10 divided by 2. The final answer is 1/5. So you're going to write 1/5 here in the final answer for the example. The third example, 4/5 multiplied by 7/11 equals, let's do it. So multiply the top by the top, 4 times 7 equals to 28. The bottom by the bottom, denominators together, 5 times 11 equal to 55. Okay, so 55 and 28 didn't have any common multiplication between them, so this example already is simple. You don't need to make it simpler. You cannot make it simpler. Example number 4, we have 2 and 6 multiplied by 4 and 8, so 2 and 4. Let's multiply them together. So you need to multiply the top together, the bottom together, multiply denominators together and the numerators together. 2 times 4 equals to 8, 6 times 8 equals to 48, and 8/48, it's a big fraction and you need to write it as a simplest form by using greatest common factor and dividing it. So between 8 and 48, the greatest common factor is 6. So let's just divide, it's 8, sorry, it's 8. Let's just divide the 8 by 8, divide the 48 by 8, and it will 8 divided by 8 is 1, 48 divided by 8 is 6. The final answer is 1 on 6. The final example, we have 3 on 7 multiplied by 2 on 6. Like I said, it's really easy. Just multiply the top together. So first you need, let me just solve it here in this circle for you. The example is 3 on 7 multiplied by 2 on 6. First, I'm going to draw a line. Second, I'm going to multiply the tops together. 3 times 2, so 3 times 2 is 6. Here, look at the bottom. 7 times 6, it's equal to 42. I'm done. So this is really easy, but I need to change this one to simplest form, so I need to use greatest common factor and then divide it. So greatest common factor between 6 and 42, it is 6 itself. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 42 divided by 6 is 7. Okay, so this is really easy to do, and the homework is page 183, examples 2 until 16. I hope you do understand the lesson. If you have any questions, you can contact me, please. Okay, hope you enjoy the holiday and be safe. Please stay at home.